Yeah, recently I have worked on an enhancement. So the bug number is this one, and this is related with the out of the office vacation message. The major part that we are doing in this enhancement is that if the user wants to disable out of office reply for the external sender, he can do that. And apart from that, we have worked on some other UI changes. So here we will be talking a lot about of office vacation reply in context of the external sender. So it's worthwhile to know the meaning of the external sender. The meaning of the external sender in Zimra mail context. External can be defined as addresses that are outside the domain, or the addresses that are outside the domain that are not in my address book. So the one of the thing arises is that why we are going for this enhancement. Current specification, it's because the current specification allows users to specify either one out of office message for everyone, or one message for external sender and a separate message for everyone else, essentially the internal sender. Yeah. But we don't have any option that if the user wants to disable out of office reply for external sender, he can do that in the present implementation or in the present scenarios. This is sometimes justified for privacy, home safety, and sometimes for corporate spam blocking reasons, because the spammer verify your address, your email address, and they verify that your email address is active or not by sending a spam to you. And if they get and if in turn they get a out of office vacation message reply, then it means that that account is still active, and that may help spammers. So this is the main reason to go for this enhancement, as some of the clients have requested for this, to disable the out of office reply to the external senders. So before diving a bit more detail into this, actually the whole thing, it's better that if we have a quick look at how this out of office vacation reply for the external sender, from usability and from a bit from the technical point, how it works actually. So there is one option here, the checkbox here. So if you so by default this is disabled. So if this is disabled, then it means that all the users, whether internal user or the external user, they will get the same out of office vacation reply message, and that will go from this the first message container, actually vacation message container. But there may be cases in which I want to send, or the user wants to send some less personalized info or different info, because they are to the external users, because of the sense that they are external. Say I don't want to give my manager email address as an emergency contact to the external sender, then I can set the customized message. I can write the customized message for the external sender by enabling this checkbox here. So in this case, the external sender will again get the message from the external message container. So at technical level, this external sender checkbox is controlled by the Zimbra pref out of office vacation, Zimbra pref out of office external reply enabled, in which can have the boolean value. So if this pref external reply enabled is false, then it means that all the users, whether external or the internal, they will get the same message, and that from this the first text area. And if this is true, then it means that the external sender will get the message from the external um, message container. That is the second one. So apart from that, as I have told, as I have earlier told, that the external users are again classified as two types. Anyone outside my domain, so it refers to all the external users, and the second type of the user is this anyone outside my domain except those in my contact list. So it refers to those users which are outside my domain, which are external user outside my domain, and which are not in my address book actually. So it refers to them. So depending upon the option that you have chosen in the external select drop down, say if I choose this thing, actually anyone outside my domain except those in my contacts, so the external senders which are not in my address. So the external senders that are not in my address book, anyone except those, yeah, external senders that are not in my address book, so they will again get a different personalized message. So at the technical level, we are controlling. So at the from the at the UI level, so this external select drop down is controlled by the pref Zimbra pref external sender type, and it can again have the all or all not in AB values. So the first for all value and the second option refers to all not in AB value. But so in the uh, enhancement that we have done actually, so we have removed this external checkbox, and we have added one more option here. So that suppresses the reply to the external senders. So you can find that this is my local dev setup. So there is no external checkbox here, and in fact there are a couple of more. So the external checkbox has been moved as a drop down, as an option in this external select drop down, and for suppressing the reply to the external sender you have the last option. So which is it's again maps to a different pref actually. Zimbra pref suppress, what is that? Zimbra pref out of office suppress external reply. So what we are doing here is that now we are controlling the external select menu with the new pref, which is Zimbra pref out of office suppress external reply, and that can have that can suppress the external reply to the senders, and options in the select control, and the different and it's a boolean actually, so it can have a true or the false value. And the first so it can have a boolean value. So if you're going to select this, then this new pref suppress external reply will have a true value, and if you're going to select if any of these three options, so it means that you are going to send a reply to the external sender, so this pref will have suppress external reply will have false value. So what we are doing now is that we are controlling this external select external select with the pref yeah, we are controlling this external select with the new pref Zimbra pref out of office suppress external reply, and uh, 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 which can again have the which can in fact have the boolean values, and the different in the options in the drop down refers maps to the different prefs again. Say if I just select the first option, send standard auto reply message, so it is again is something that stands for its behavior is similar to this the pref which was controlling this checkbox here. So external reply enabled, so it maps, so this option maps to it's a bit wrong written here, it should be Zimbra pref out of office external reply enabled. It can again have a boolean value. If I select the next two options, and say if I select the next option, this local dev setup, if I select the next option, then it again maps to uh, this pref actually what we are having here, Zimbra pref uh, external sender type, and it can have again a all value, and if the third option is selected, then it can have the all not in AB value. It's running, yeah, it's running, yeah. So now if you're going to select the fourth option, so that we are talking, then this suppress external reply, it needs to be true. So in short, so we are controlling this select external select menu with the new pref suppress external reply, and if you are selecting this thing actually, so it's true, and if you are selecting the other, so this is false actually, and so this pref is false, and in turn, as this again as the different options refers to the different prefs, so when the user selects any option from the drop down, and if he saves his preferences here, then at the runtime what we are doing is that we are checking that what is the option that the user has selected in the external uh, select control, and on the basis of that actually we add the prefs to the request at that time. So in short, so we are doing some check here actually based upon the what option the user has selected, as the external the external vacation reply is now basically dependent on three prefs. And the fun and the good part and the tricky part was here that all the three prefs are now going to be controlled by a and all the three prefs are now their behavior will be determined by a single UI control, um, unlike the present implementation in which we are having a checkbox and again a separate select drop down for that. So for that, what we are doing is that, say suppose if the first option, if the user has selected the first option, then send a standard auto reply message. Then if the user has selected this option, then then in this case the user will be getting, the external sender will be getting the same message as the internal senders will be getting. So this pref external reply enabled, it needs to be false. Selecting and selecting the first pref, basically it does not depends on this pref external sender type. So it can have either of the values, all or all not enemy, that does not matters. And if you're going to have and but as again when the but again when the first option is selected, so you will be sending a reply to the external sender, so suppress external reply needs to be false. So now this was with the first. So this is the possible combination of the three different prefs when the first option is selected. Say suppose if I select the second option, send standard message to those not in my organization, then in this case again I want to send a customized message to the external sender. So this pref external reply enabled needs to be true. As I'm sending the external message to all the external users, so the value of this pref external sender type, it will be all. And and again I am sending the message to the external sender. So this pref suppress external reply, it needs to be false, because if it is true, then it will suppress the reply to the external sender. The external sender will not be receiving any like out of office vacation reply. So if I select the third option, so here the functionality is more or less like the first one. So I won't go into much detail about this thing. So here again external reply enabled will be true. External sender type will be all not in AB, as all users which are not in my address book send custom messages to those not in my organization and address book. So it's the value of this pref will be all not in AB. And again I am sending the reply to the external sender. So this pref suppress external reply needs to be false. Now if I'm selecting the fourth option, then undoubtedly I am suppressing the reply to the external sender. The external sender is not going to receive any out of office vacation reply message. So this pref will be true, and it does not matter that what are the first two pref office reply enabled or external sender type. It doesn't matter on that value actually. So this is the main logic for applying for going with this enhancement actually. So what we were doing that depending upon I'm just repeating this thing, that depending upon the option that the user has selected in the drop down actually, and when he saves and he clicks, and when he saves his preferences, then we check that what is the preferences that the user has selected in his drop down. We just have a combination of the prefs that is here depending upon the option that the user has selected, and we just add the and we that at the runtime we are adding that pref to the list that construct the request, and it get and those prefs get saved at the server side. And this is how the external sender gets the out of office vacation reply depending upon what option the user has selected. So apart from this, some of the things, so this was the main logical part. Apart from this, the other things that I have done in this enhancement was uh, that uh, uh, that we are having a couple of options here. So some options requires me to send a customized message to the external sender, so I need to enable the text area. Other options, once the requirement of the other option is that if other options are selected, then the text area should be disabled. Those things I have done in the present implementation. So we also did a couple of UI changes, like in present implementation. So this time period and this start in date and calendar was before this external sender label. So we have moved it down actually. So that was in fact the requirement as is specified. So there was again, when I was working on this enhancement, so there was again an issue with the that if the user has saved any of the options, and when you just for example, if the user has saved any of the options, if we just save it and then reload the page, then there were some issues in just getting the last saved option. So for that, the workaround for that was that we are getting that what is the value of that pref in the app context. We are and When we just load this out of office page, when the out of office section view loads, then at that time we are finding that what is the value of the corresponding pref actually as again we are having a all these options refers to the different pref. We just find that uh, in app context what is the value of that pref, and then we are showing it here. So um, when I was just working on this I need to close this. So when I was working on this out of office enhancement, so I found a bug that if the external message container is empty, and if you select do not send auto replies message, so this is actually mail.zimbra.com, our production setup. So and if I click save, then I am getting this auto reply message for external sender is missing, which does not make sense actually. This message does not make sense because I am clicking this thing actually, do not send auto reply to the sender. So I have again filed a separate bug for this, and so I have again fixed this thing. And mm, yeah so yeah so am I missing something? So let's go to the review board. Mm, so here we are registering this new pref vacation external at the code level. I'm talking here. I'm registering this pref with the settings. uh, so this is its value at the server side, Zimbra pref out of office suppress external reply, and at the client side it is um, demonstrated by this thing, vacation external suppress. So here what are the things at init function deals with when you reloading issue, that the reloading issue that I talked, the set functions here in fact deals with adding the that depending upon the option that the user has saved in the external select, how we are adding that pref to the list that construct the request. Change functions deals with when you just change the different options in external select, so we are enabling disabling the text area, those kind of things. And the validation message is again for in certain validation cases we are doing it here. So one of the so here I have um, um, so here we are having, and this is a in the present setup, in the present scenario, this is a production setup. So we are having two prefs actually, vacation external. We are having two prefs, vacation external sender type and external reply enabled. So it refers to it refers to external reply enabled, and it refers to external sender type. So I have left this so earlier, so you can see that earlier it was having some display container and it was having values all not in AV. So here I have made it empty. I have also written the relevant comment here. So the reason for this is that I have left it empty is that now we are controlling the external select menu with the external pref, vacation external sender type, and depending upon the option selected, we are adding the pref to the list. So the reason for this is that we want to register this brief with the setting. It is for the season that I have added here, and the same with this thing actually, vacation message enabled, which refers to, which in the earlier implementation was referring to this checkbox. So that we have talked a lot. This was the checkbox here. So validation, that's the validation thing. So and, yeah. So here we are adding the prefs to the list. So on saving, we are adding the pref to the list actually, depending upon the option that the user has selected. So we are also just checking that if the pref value has not changed, then do not add that. We are also doing a check for that. So yeah, so there is yeah. So these are these things has been commented. Yeah, so that is what we have done here. So um, uh, anything I am missing? I don't think so. So thanks.